Welcome everyone to our daily Forex market analysis call in preparation for trading for August 11, 2017. Just a quick reminder before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. And if you have questions about your individual investment needs, I recommend you talk to your investment advisor. So let's start off as usual by looking at our Forex factory here. In terms of the data, there wasn't a ton of data that came out. We had pound data, and then we had US data, which came out slightly negative here. Unemployment claims were in line with expectations. And then we have RBA, Governor Lau speaking. Okay, so going into tomorrow. So tomorrow we have US data coming out. So this is important numbers, inflation numbers. So they're expected to increase. So if the inflation numbers, CPI numbers and inflation numbers, though very, very important because this is one of the key data points that the Fed will track, and it will have an impact on what decisions are made in terms of raising rates or keeping them stable. So if the numbers come out positive, that will be positive for the US dollar. And if they come out negative, that would not be good for the US dollar. So that's what we are keeping in mind, or we need to keep in mind. So that's pretty much it. Rest of the Friday, we just have a couple of members of FOMC members speaking. Other than that, nothing much. So we may get the rest of the New York session after the news come out. It could be fairly slow. All right, so let's take a look at our charts now. Starting off with the Euro US dollar here. Euro dollar, this is very bullish. So we have two bullish pin bars back to back, which makes Euro dollar bullish. And the next target we are looking here is 1.1820 level. So this will be our next target that we'll be looking at. So bullish here. And in terms of our 4-hour chart, this is where we are. Looks like it wants to go up further. We are into filling this inefficient move, and chances are that will get filled. So looking at 1 hour, this is where we are. Price has pulled back into previous support and resistance here. So if we were to move this right into here, this is where our pullback came in. So it held above the previous resistance level, which has now turned into support. So now we're looking for price to go back all the way to the top. So into this 1820 level. So about 1820-ish level is what we are aiming for here. So Euro dollar is bullish. Pound dollar here, pound was bearish and it still has bearishness left into it, but we are into support now. So we have hit the support 2 days in a row, and that is a little concerning. So going into, but still, in terms of our bias, the bias is still to the downside, but we are going to be cautious with the pound dollar. And if the price does not break below this 129.50 level, then chances are it's going to go up higher. And then we are looking for price to go into this 1.3020 level. So kind of back into the top of this pin. So for now, our bias is bearish, but important level will be 129.50. If it doesn't break, then we're looking at move higher. This is where we are currently. Prices pulling back a little bit. And again, this is the level 129.50. From a 1 hour perspective, it's just going sideways now. Hasn't really done much. It kind of flattened out here, and now it's pushing back up. So this is what price has done basically for the afternoon. Hasn't really moved much. And I did have a trade in this one here. It didn't hit the take profit, but it is in profit at the moment, about 20 pips or so. So I'm just going to close it out because it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. I was away from my desk this afternoon. Otherwise, I would have closed it out right around here somewhere. But right now, we are going to be cautious with this one. Bias is still to the downside. So bearish to neutral here, and 129.50 will be the key level to watch. Aussie dollar, we have a bearish pin bar, but price hasn't closed below the previous support level. So our bias is to the downside, but again, just like the pound here, 78.50 level will be an important decision area. So if the price does not break below this one, we could see the price trail up higher. And in that case, the target looks like 79.12-ish area. So maybe even slightly higher into 79.20 area. So that's what we're likely to see. But right now, the bias is to the downside, and we're looking for price to move down into 77.80 level. And if we look closer, this is where we are. Price has been making lower highs. So right now, the trend is still to the downside, and we need to see a break of this 78.50 level for a further move to the downside, which would then finish filling this inefficiency. So, and over here, that's a key level, and this is where we are looking for price to come back down to. This is our 1 hour. As we can see right now, price is just going sideways. New Zealand dollar here, big drop, and based on this, we are looking for price to move lower into 7,200 level. But prior to that, we may get a pullback, and 7,300 could be a good level for a pullback, which is not that far from our current level. So this is the previous level, 7,300, and I'd be looking for price to stay below this level. So one thing to keep in mind in terms of the U.S. crosses is that we do have inflation number coming in, and the data out of the U.S. has not been positive. And as a result, going into the numbers, into the news release, we could get price essentially pushing up in the US dollar crosses. So that is a risk. So keep that in mind. Even though our bias is to the downside, price could creep up into the report. So this is from 1 hour perspective. So this is the level we are watching, 7,300. It could go slightly higher into the 73, 14, 15 area as well. For now, we'll just keep it over here. All right, so looking at dollar CAD, it has broken above this previous level now. We didn't see the break for 3 days. Price struggled with this 127.15 level. Now it has broken above, and now our bias is bullish now. However, what we may see is one of these, so pull back into 27.15, or we may see price pull back a little deeper here into that level, which is about 2700 level, 1.2700. So that's what we're looking for. The next target to the upside here is 127.80 level, which will be the top of this pin. So we're looking for price to move up higher, but it could have a deeper pullback because because of the CPI numbers coming out tomorrow. So here is the level. So we could see price come into this, which is 126.97, so about 12700 level. Right now it's just doing that pullback, so looking for it to come back lower here, or if it just stays around this level into the pivot point, so this previous level, that's an option as well, that it may just go to 2720 and then move higher from there. However, the 2700 looks good as well, which is this pin right here. So overall, the bias is bullish on dollar CAD. Euro Swiss here, we are looking for further move to the downside. Very, very neutral close for the day. And at this point, so actually the close is neutral. And what that means is it can go either way. So in this case, the first target will be the bottom of this pin right here, 1.1300, and then if the price continues, we could see it come down into 1.1260-ish level right about here. Euro has been strong, so euro is a risk currency here. So euro has been moving up because of the concerns, so keep that in mind. So euro is overall strong. Pound Swiss here, Pound Swiss bearish close for the day, and now we're looking for a further move to the downside. The target here is 1.2400. So this is 123.96. Basically, we're looking for price to drop here for Pound Swiss. It does need to clear below this level though, 124.80, and then we're just looking for price to move into 12400. So bias is to the downside. Dollar Swiss bias, we have a bearish pin bar here. This is a nice rejection of the previous level and a nice bearish pin bar close. So this is probably, of the three of them, this is the most bearish. And also keeping in mind that the CPI numbers are coming out. As a result of that, overall the US dollar is likely to be bearish going into the data tomorrow. So as a result of this is a good one. So dollar Swiss short is not a bad idea. So in this case, the target is 95.50. However, we could run into trouble into 95.92 area, which will be the first support resistance level right about here, and then we are looking for price to basically go into this 95.50 level. So those are two target levels to the downside, but dollar Swiss is more bearish between the three of them here. Okay, so moving on to Euro Yen here, we have a nice bearish close right into the support. This was our range that we were looking at. Now we are looking for further weakness in there. Very nice bearish engulfing candle. So looking for price to come down into a 127.50 level right about here. So that is bearish. Pound yen is bearish as well, looking for price to move lower into 140.80 area, this support and resistance. So bearish on that. We could get a pullback into this level here, a 142.20-ish area, and then we may see a drop. But overall, bearish there. Dollar yen, just like dollar Swiss franc, dollar yen is bearish as well. And the next target here is 108.80 level. Beyond that, we are into lows here, previous lows here, 108.30 will be the next level to the downside. It has broken below this level this trend line that we had. So this trend line is gone, but actually I'm going to keep it here in case it bounces, it pushes up into that to drop. But overall, this looks bearish. So just to kind of remind everyone, we have right now the reason Japanese yen and Swiss franc are very strong are because there's risk aversion in the market currently. So what's going on is North Korea is testing their missiles, and as a result of that, we are also hearing they said something about they tested a missile that can go as far as the United States, and then President Trump has been on Twitter responding to the threats and all that kind of stuff. So it's causing risk aversion in the market. So people want to be in the safe haven currencies. So Swiss franc and Japanese yen are both safe haven currencies, and that's why they're going up. So everything across the board, all the Swiss crosses will be going lower, as well as the Japanese yen crosses will be dropping, because both Swiss franc and Japanese yen are getting stronger. We are into support now though, so keep that in mind. The drop and the rise and drop doesn't stay on forever. So right now, as we approach these levels, we have to be cautious. But this is the reason why we are seeing these prices drop. So Aussie yen, same scenario, very, very bearish engulfing candle, looking for further move to the downside. First target here is 85.70, which we are very close to at the moment. And 85.30 is the next level to the downside, with 8,500 right below it. So those are our levels to the downside. If it breaks this 85.70 level, then we are looking for a further move to the downside here. New Zealand yen, again, big, huge move today. Looking for a further move to the downside, we could get a pullback in this one. So 79.90 level, this would be a nice level for a pullback, but we may just go into 79.80-ish level. But overall though, looking for further move to the downside, the target here is this. This is a nice support and resistance level, so 78.93, so not that far from current price. CAD yen, we are bearish on this one as well. So this one may pull back into, so I sent out a trade alert. I entered a trade in this one. So it may do one of these, so we have to be cautious about it. But overall, bias is to the downside for CAD yen as well. And the target here is 85.00 as the first target. Second target is 84.50. So those will be the two profit targets to the downside. So bearishness there. Euro pound here, Euro pound has broken above this previous level. So this is a very bullish candle close, 2 pins in the bottom here. So we could see further move to the upside, gives it a bullish bias. So this is the type of move we could see like that. So back test into 90.50 and then a further move to the upside. That's what we are. That's where we are for Euro pound. Euro Aussie there, we are into the top of this range that it has been trading in. 149.66 is the top of the range. We're kind of on the other side of here, but so this is bullish, but we are into the top of the range. So we have to keep that in mind. If the price does one of these, this is the kind of move we could see. So 149.60-ish level will be the one to watch. Yeah, so 149.66-ish level is the one to watch. If the price breaks above that level, then we're looking for a pullback into this and price to stay above that, which would give it a, so this is a bit bullish pin bar that we have for the daily close, which makes it quite bullish. But keep in mind, we are into the top of the range, and usually with range bound trading, once we are into the top of the range, we're looking for price to move lower. So those are the scenarios here. We need to see if the price holds below 1.4966, we're likely to see it come lower. If it breaks through, then we're looking for a pullback into this level and further move to the outside. Pound Aussie, this is another one that I am watching here. So 1.6500 here is actually, so this is what I was looking at. So it is making lower highs now. So it looks like it's pulling back. So it is into the top here. It did not break this yesterday. And I am thinking that it's going to come lower. So the target here would be 162.96. There was 6,300. But this is where 63.70 level is where I'm looking for it to come into, or even into 6,400. So there's still, from where the current price is, 90 pips at the moment, even if it just comes into the bottom here. So it has failed here, failed to go through. And now today I was watching it and it was struggling. So I am going to keep an eye on this, but this is a potential trade where it may just come into the bottom of the range here. So that's something to keep in mind. Right now, I'm just going to see how price reacts at that level. And then, so there's no pound news coming out tomorrow morning. So there's no pound news. We have news out of the Eurozone, but no pound news, which is good, because at least it won't be driven by the news. So keep that one in mind. But that's all I have. Any questions or anything to add? Okay, perfect. So we will call it a wrap, and tomorrow we'll have our webinar at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening.